The Lumix S5 Mark II just came in from Japan this morning, so let's check out its top 5 features. Number 1. Autofocus. Face detect autofocus is finally here on the Lumix cameras and it's super exciting. So many filmmakers around the world have been waiting for this moment. Lumix cameras always bring great colors, lots of customizations, and anamorphic mode, and now we can add a great autofocus system to that list. I've done a bunch of tests on the Lumix S5 Mark II and the autofocus is looking really great. It's fast and snappy in its default settings, and you can actually set it up and speed up some of the settings and the sensitivity. So for example, if you're doing some fast action stuff, you can speed it up, and if you're doing something like an interview, you might want to slow it down. A quick tip: if you're filming people, use the human tracking rather than just face and eye, because face and eye will only capture face and eye, and once you get far enough from the camera, that might lose track and possibly lock onto the background. But if you're using human detection, that would still detect face, eye, as well as the full body. So in general, that's a better mode to use when filming people. Number 2. In-body image stabilization. IBIS is 200% better on the new Lumix S5 Mark II compared to the original Lumix S5. Here's a little comparison of the stabilization S5 Mark II versus the original S5. You can stabilize Lumix lenses, adapted vintage lenses, as well as anamorphic lenses. The anamorphic mode has a very cool feature where you can choose which squeeze factor your lens has and it will stabilize the lens correctly. Number 3. Higher resolutions and no record limit. The original S5 could record up to 4K and it did have some time limitations, but the S5 Mark II has no time limitations and you can also record in 6K up to 25 frames, 3x2, so full frame, and also 16:9, 5.9K. When you first get your S5 Mark II, the record counter down in the bottom right corner will show you a limit when you're shooting in 6K, but there's a little trick to get around that. Go into the thermal management settings, set it to high, and it will remove any sort of time recording limitations on this camera. Also, every single recording format is in 10-bit, which is really great when color grading vlog. And number 4 is the improved design compared to the original S5. The main change is the full-size HDMI port. It's a lot more sturdy than the original S5 micro HDMI, and I think a lot of you will appreciate this change. Another thing are the strap mounts. So on the original S5, they're kind of noisy and poking out of the camera, but on the new S5 Mark II, they're more embedded into the body and also look a lot better. Lumix has also expanded the top part of the camera here just to integrate a cooling system into it, so you can see on the sides there's little vents to help cool down the system. And lastly, we have real-time LUTS. And that's a feature that enables you to put custom LUTs and bake it into the videos and photos that you're taking. This is a very helpful feature when you're doing a quick turnaround shoot and you just want to apply LUTs in camera. But another use of this feature would be to color match the S5 Mark II with other camera systems that you're shooting with. You just need to buy or create a LUT that will match the S5 Mark II color space to another camera system, and that will basically give you the same color tones on both cameras. Let me know down below which S5 Mark II feature you're most excited about, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll see you next time.